Yeah, I did mine early. Sorry.
But I think your clap was in line with me saying clap, so that'll be helpful.
All right.
I figured it out. I usually do.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Guardian Hub podcast, a podcast where we talk Destiny and our experiences in the game. We like to spotlight different guests and communities, and we want to be a place to talk about uplifting experiences we've had. This week with me tonight is Cyn. Cyn, how are you?
Well, pretty good for the most part. I was exhausted earlier, but then we ran into some fun times with Craig. Craig is now on the shit list.
Oh, Craig. He's in the timeout corner.
He's in the timeout corner.
See, I think he's like a bear or a dog, but you think he looks like a fox?
I think he looks like a fox.
Nonetheless, he's in the timeout corner.
He's in timeout.
Yep.
He screwed up our first recording 40, 50 minutes in and only got 4 minutes of it on the final output.
Shh,
so
you
now
don't have to tell them all the secrets. No, but we love... everyone here can commiserate, I guess, if you're hearing this, or just don't care because we're professionals and we have to deal with it. But
exactly.
Anyways, we pretend to be.
We get to talk about the same stuff twice in a row, and you only get to hear it once.
The better version.
Live!
Yes. Well, speaking of that, I mean, you said kind of a tiring week. We did things in Destiny, did we not? How was your week in Destiny? Anything interesting you did, or... Tell me about, did you do any Xur bounties? I know I did some.
Xur bounties, I am 1 week behind in those, unfortunately. The Inverted Spire was last week. I'm just now getting to that today, unfortunately. So I'm exactly 1 week behind. I was picking them up on every character, and playing on my Warlock this week had the original week still on my Warlock. For some reason, it was still there. And ended up completing that and getting another lore piece out of it. But been enjoying them. Just been a little bit behind. 1 week behind.
I like the Xur bounties. It's been one of these things that I tend to look forward to picking up on Friday. I try to get to it in the afternoon or in the evening when I can first log in. And I wish they had more things like this. Even though there's not a lot to do in it, it still kind of gets you to run a strike, gets you to do a few small things, and then pick up that piece of lore. And, one thing I wanted to mention is I hope something kind of cool comes of it at the end. Or who knows, maybe we'll get our last one and then it's done. But
it's probably going to be the last one, and it's done, just like you said.
But wouldn't that be awesome if it just somehow started an exotic quest also?
That would be
One
nice.
can hope. One can hope.
We can hope.
Yeah, but I like the Xur bounties. So overall, I think it's been a great thing. And I hope they add more things like that in the game. We have our Tuesday resets, Xur bounty on Friday. Why not add something else like on a Sunday or whatever? I just wish there was a little more liveness to the game at points. We talk about the game and how could they add more to it. One idea that they could do, which I'm okay with the idea, but I don't know how you feel about it, Cyn. But what if they made it like a subscription service? Because I know some... we have the Origin subscription service. Apple is starting a gaming subscription service. How would Destiny be like to you, or do you not want to have one more subscription? None of us do, right?
Deja vu with the subscriptions. We talked about this last week a little bit. My gripe about WoW and the subscription service, because I was not into the game at all. WoW for me didn't wow me. It didn't keep my attention. It didn't keep me coming back. Destiny, if it was a subscription service, absolutely, I would join in on that bandwagon. You pay $100 up front, or in some cases $200 if you're playing on multiple platforms. So for me, it would be well worth the $10 or $15 a month, especially if they are going to bring more updates monthly, more updates more regularly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'd be one more subscription, like you said. We talked about this, I know, in Dollar Shave Club subscription. You have your phone subscription. You have Netflix.
So much.
You add them. But yeah, I would still play it. I don't know about everybody else. Would you, I'm assuming you would still be on the bandwagon if it was a subscription
I definitely
either
would.
way.
And I kind of almost want them to switch to that, assuming they can be a little more adding new content or new weapons all the time, and everything would be included. So there's no Eververse thing on top of that, right? You get all the stuff,
Right.
I think I'd be fine with it. I totally understand if people don't like the idea. And boy, if anyone listening to this has a strong opinion and would love to come on and talk to us about that, we'd love to have you on. But I think it'd be great for myself. So I don't know, because I'm one of those hardcore players, and you're like that too. So
Right.
we'll see. I have no inclination if they will do that or not. Maybe Destiny 3, maybe if they have another game in their portfolio with rumors, they're working on another game. So it could be a little more worth it if they could maybe combine that all together. We'll see.
Right. Now, you said Apple's got their own subscription service. Tell me a little bit more about that. I didn't read up much up on that one yet.
Yeah, well, that's going to be coming out in the fall, called Apple Games Plus, and the idea is to have premier AAA type games. What would be considered AAA for mobile games? Normally these games that you see that they charge in the App Store for $5, $10, something like that, and not a lot of people buy them. No one wants to spend that money for like a one-time game. They're not sure if it's going to be good or not. This freemium model, I'm sure in other areas too, but Apple and the App Stores even said that they make way more money than these AAA games in the App Store. People download them for free, and then they buy all these skins, they buy all these upgrades. And the developers that want to make these cool games, that want to charge for a beautiful game $10, and they know no one wants to buy it. So Apple came out with an idea to start a subscription service, and we don't know the pricing yet. It hasn't been announced, but it's going to come out in the fall. And but they told us all the details, where you just pay a 1 monthly price. You'll get a large selection of games. Developers can buy into this system where they're going to develop these games, and everything's included. There's no ads in the games. You get all the stuff, all the loot, and Apple will just divvy that pot out to the developers and pay them that way. And they've even done the calculations, and many of them are happy, saying that we think we'll make more money this way in the long run.
Right. And that brings me to the point of, with my commute, I've been listening to a lot more podcasts, and I can't remember which one it was, but one of the podcasts I was listening to broke down the AAA game profits last year in 2008 versus the freemium or the free-to-play, the free download services, their profits in 2018. And it was something ridiculous. Fortnite was like one of the top grossing free-to-play games at $4 billion in like 2018. Now, what's really sad is like a AAA game like your Destiny or Red Dead, any of these games that you just pay for straight out of the gate, and that's all you pay for the most part. The closest one, or the top one out of that bucket, didn't even make $1 billion. The free-to-play games are making money basically hand over fist, just because of the type of model that they're on. They're putting out skins or emotes or different things in that people can just pay $5 for or spend a few bucks on, and they're getting tons of people just to spend money on those, and they don't have to charge for the game, and they're making loads of money.
It makes sense. It really does. Like, no matter if you're a kid or an adult, I can see some kid getting some free game and then telling them, hey, Mommy, can I get this $2 add-on? Okay. And then like a month later, can I get another one? Okay, it's only $2. It's been a month. And then next thing you know, you've put $20 into the game over a period of time, where, these $10 games that are upfront purchase, they're like, I don't want to spend $10 on a game. But the funny thing is, they've spent $20 on a game over the long run. So
right.
It's kind of these spread the money over time is becoming very popular, whether it's a subscription, whether it's a freemium game where you just buy add-ons over time.
Right. And it brings me to the those cell phone games. I play one of them. It's called War Z. It's just basically a reskin of like a Clash of Kings or something to that effect. But they basically make you, they don't make you, but it's free to download. You can pay to have an advantage in the game, basically. It's free. So if you want, and everything in there is like time based. So you can have like one of each thing going at once, but you have somebody else who's spending money to unlock two things going at once, and they have boosts and speed ups. That person has an advantage. And on the PvP side of the game or the attack side of the game, you don't stand a chance because you're further behind than that other person. Now you can get to that end game or get to what you think is the end game, because these games are always adding end game content, quote unquote. You can get there. It just takes a long time because everything is time based, and you're basically just paying for time. You're paying to shorten that time cycle inside the game so you can have that effect now or have that advantage now.
Yeah, I've seen those games. Not my cup of tea. I mean, sure, there can be some fun games that do that, but yeah, I don't love the idea. I think for me too, I like a subscription. If it's a subscription that brings value, that would be my first choice. My second choice is just paying for a game straight up, and then my last choice is a freemium type model, only if it's a game I really like.
Right, not Fortnite, because I have not jumped into that one.
I tried that a little bit and didn't really love it. And then I looked at Apex Legends. I'm like, this looks way better. And I can understand people enjoying that, but I didn't get into that either. And I told my son about it. He tried it a little bit. And he's like, this is way better than Fortnite, but he didn't get into it either. He's enjoying now I can't even think of the other Blizzard
Destiny
game.
2?
Well, that too, but the other Blizzard game, the shooting...
Overwatch?
Overwatch, yes.
There you go. You just need to put a sticky note in front of him while he's gaming that reminds him he has a predetermined marriage.
Yes.
In like 10 years or so. Just don't forget to remind him.
Okay.
I was listening to the published podcast from last week today, and I laughed at that conversation.
It's written in stone. I could say it's written in digital bits. So
right.
We will have that as an arrangement. Oh boy. So what else about this week? I wanted to talk briefly about some of the buffed supers. Maybe it's mostly talk about the Warlock one, because you ran some Warlock this week also, did you not?
Lots of Warlock.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the new Arc Super? Now, I don't know if you ran the old one enough to kind of compare it, but either way, you saw what the new one was like. What did you think?
PvP and Gambit, not my cup of tea. I didn't really play it in the actual straight PvE setting yet, but a little bit we played with it. I played Arc at the beginning of the week. We played some Crucible. I got the Getaway Artist to drop. There's my RNG. Always getting something, right? And
lucky, although I have it too.
Right. And I tried with the Arc Solar, that Arc Buddy, that overcharged Arc that you get. And in PvP, we're playing Mayhem. Probably not the best, because you have to get super close with people in that super in order to kill them. Mm-hmm. Where you're fighting against people that have hammers, that have Blade Barrage, that have Nova Bomb. And that does not really stack up well against the distant supers, because you're not going to even get a chance to get close enough in that gameplay. Quick play might be a little bit different, because you might have some additional time. Not everybody's going to be popping off their supers every 10 seconds to where it's going to be an issue. So quick play might be a little bit more viable with that. But I've been sticking mostly with Nova Bomb and Skull of Dire Ahamkara.
Yeah.
And been playing a lot of Gambit otherwise. Just about 2,000 infamy, a little over 2,000 infamy points away from my third reset. So.
Oh, excellent. Gambit is one thing that I don't know if I've hopped into this week, and they updated it a little bit. Have you noticed anything in the updates of Gambit, like with the invading and the differences at the end, or the primeval, or whatever the updates were in Gambit Prime, or were you just doing regular Gambit?
Been doing regular Gambit just because it's a little bit easier.
What I like to call Gambit Subprime.
Gambit Subprime. OG Gambit. Mm-hmm. And I've been having a lot of good runs in that. And you can really see if you have a invade, like when you invade right away and can get the first invade and knock off a bunch of their moats, it makes it an easy win. And that's an OG Gambit, in the original Gambit. And I've had some really good runs doing that. And I'm not normally really strong at invading, but with most people, I think, stepping away from OG Gambit and going, most of the sweaties going into Gambit Prime, it's opened up, and you're playing a lot of more, I would say, broad area of players. And it's been frustrating at times, too. We had more than enough to bank and get a primeval, and we're like way ahead on moats. Guy's got 12 moats, and he's over there clearing ads for his 15 stack. And I'm sitting here yelling at the screen and being like, dude, just bank the moats. We're like right there. We don't need to drag this out. Just put the moats in. And I know they can't hear me because I'm solo queuing, but
if you yell loud enough,
it's like the sports team. It's like a sports team when you're cheering from your couch.
They must not listen to any Destiny podcast, or they must not play with any friends that know what they're doing. I feel sad. Which, everyone, as you're listening to this podcast, please recommend us to your friends that don't know how to play Gambit. No, I'm just kidding. We're not experts ourselves, but we enjoy getting the word out there. I've enjoyed Gambit OG, also Gambit Subprime. I do feel like Gambit Prime gets a little sweaty at times, and boy, if you time your supers right in regular Gambit, it goes fast. Especially if you had like 2 Warlock Nova Bombs, or if you have like a tether at the end in 1 Warlock Nova Bomb, you could, if you tether the envoys just right, you could take them both down, even do a little bit of splash damage on the main boss, and then get your Nova Bomb right back, and then throw another one, and the boss's health is probably at least halfway down, if not a little bit more.
Yeah, it
Fun
can
strats.
Go super quick when you can stack the abilities like that.
Yeah,
just not solo queuing though.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have our OG Gambit, our LFG team, or our Prime team that we'll go in and get everyone going. So whoever wants to join up with us, I'm down for more Gambit. Haven't done Reckoning for a while, actually, and I think that's partly due to because of Gambit Prime, and I've gotten all the trophies and triumphs I want in Reckoning except for one. I got to do the bridge encounter without anyone using any supers. That'll be interesting. I wonder if we need to wait until our power level's higher for that one, because that one may be a little bit hard.
Right. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, but I'll get it done eventually, so that'll be good.
I actually still think I need one more lore piece from the dirt lore, and it's from the 2 swords in the one room. There's a lore piece in there.
Yes, I did not get that one yet either. In fact, I feel like I haven't run the sword room for a while. I've been kind of running, maybe I just, on the weeks that I've played, it's been the Oryx encounter.
You just haven't been playing, don't lie.
Haven't been playing any Destiny.
Just not Reckoning.
Yeah, just not Reckoning as much. Of course, did a couple raids again. With the great raiders over at Hoot Dog, did a quick Leviathan and a quick Last Wish. We pumped them out in the same night over on the PC side. It's amazing how quickly you can get those raids going for people that know it. And then I did also a quote Sherpa raid with, but these members, they're in our Discord, but they're excellent. Even though I Sherpa'd them through Last Wish, they pick it up right away, and we were able to get that done pretty quickly too. The only small issues we had was a little bit at the end with Queen's Walk. That's to be expected. Anyone can have issues there, no matter if you've done it a million times or never done it before. You just gotta do it right.
Yeah, it does take a lot of rhythm with those. Making sure you got a team that knows what they're doing. One little mistake in that, and you get sucked into the heart room, or whatever you want to call it, the orb room, and you get too close to the runner, and you get sucked in there, and you have one less person to run. You're done. Or
too far, and you die. Yeah. We all know the issues.
One little mistake can cost you that run.
But I'll tell you, it was fun running the Prospector on the Riven encounter. I was a little hesitant to do that at first when I heard about the switch, because I was so used to doing the rocket launcher strat, but I'd switched over to that finally, and I don't know if it's necessarily that much better. When I was looking at the numbers, it was slightly better, but it's fun. Just boom, boom, boom. They shoot faster. They kind of just right up there, and it was a fun way to run the encounter. Have you done the Prospector method at all?
Yeah, I like it myself. I like the quickness of that gun in that fight where rockets seem really slow and sluggish. You have that, and it is just like bam, 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 bam. It's right there. And I know we talked a little bit about it earlier originally, but like you were telling me at one point, having the grenade perk on there, giving you a little bit more ammo.
Yes. Grenade
Super
launcher
helpful.
Reserves. Yes.
Yeah, super.
You kind of want those either way. You know, if you're doing rockets or grenades, you want as many as you can get out at once. Interesting thing is I had been moving to, especially on the PC side, but I might try this on PS4 also, is after I do my Prospector, I'd move to the Arc Beam, the newest Arc class for Forsaken, where you do that Arc blast, like a laser beam, and that works pretty well as a secondary thing, and it kind of will last the rest of the time. So I don't even have to worry about switching to a secondary or primary weapon after my Prospector runs out. So I like that strat for the Warlock.
Right.
Now, Prospector and a few other weapons have a catalyst coming out, so I'm also excited for that. Boy, we have the Prospector, we have Suros Regime, which I want to talk about in a second, and what else? We have Rat King, whatever, we'll see if I get around to it.
Hardlight.
And Hardlight. You're excited for Hardlight, I believe?
Yeah, I was, out of all the guns, Hardlight, to me, the little bit I've actually played with it, I've enjoyed it. Suros I played with a little bit. I didn't enjoy it as much. Prospector, yeah, for the Last Wish, absolutely. Having the catalyst for that would be fantastic. And Rat King, just like I said, I don't really use it. Wouldn't mind having them all. But honestly, I think we have some catalysts now in Crucible. And Suros also drops from Crucible. I've played Crucible. I have not gotten, at least I can't remember that I've gotten one to drop. And I should go back and look and see which catalysts actually do drop from Crucible. I've gotten a few, but I just feel like I don't have all of them.
I'm a little worried about that too. I'm looking forward to getting the Suros Regime catalyst, which is in Crucible. So funny enough, if people know me, they know I don't enjoy Crucible. It's my least favorite thing to do in the game. But I hopped into it some this week in Mayhem because I don't mind Mayhem. That's the thing I look forward to the most in D2. I hope they bring back Rift. Please, Bungie, bring back Rift. But short of that, I think I might actually hop into an occasional quick play on my own, or I'll be more willing to with teams to just run in. And I'll tell you, I was running Suros Regime anyways due to some suggestions from Hercules over on their podcast, Massive Breakdowns. And for me, it works well the way you got to do the dual speed receiver perk on it, but it works well for me with that style of gun, short of a scout rifle like Polaris Lance that I used to run more. And so I'm excited to get the catalyst and really even just try it in PvE and see if it is good. You know, if it's something that might replace another auto rifle or another weapon that I do in PvE. Yeah, but maybe I don't know what the drop rates would be like, because I think I've gotten a lot of catalysts, but yeah, I've never, and again, I don't maybe play that much Crucible, but you haven't gotten any Crucible catalysts, so.
So apparently you have, just not on PS4, and PS4 is where I spent most of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And Colony is one of them, if I'm reading correctly. I got that on PC fairly early on, but I never really used it. PS4, because you have 3 different ones that I'm seeing here just on the list outside of Suros. You have the Colony, Vigilance Wing, and Jade Rabbit. I have none of those.
Colony rings a bell. I might actually have gotten that. I should look that up, but no, I haven't gotten Vigilance Wing or Jade Rabbit, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Vigilance Wing, yeah, probably would be nice to have. Jade Rabbit, yeah, probably would be nice to have, actually.
I wonder what those drop rates are like.
Probably awful, as we've seen.
Well, what's interesting in the news, I was reading the TWAB, and we don't go through all the news items usually in this podcast, but I do find it interesting that they finally showed us some numbers. A lot of people have been salty about not getting 1,000 voices. That used to be a 5% drop, and they buffed it to a 10% drop. So I guess you could say double your chances, but still only 10%.
Right. And I know we talked about this. It really depends on the RNG too. It's 10%, yeah, you're double. I mean, for me, I've had really good luck with the exotic weapons. First run on PS4, first run in Last Wish, I get it. Second run in Scourge, I get the Anarchy. So with the exotics in those cases, I've been pretty lucky. I know we talked a little bit about it earlier again, but
yeah,
like you said, if you have 100 chances and the range of the RNG number in that is only between 50 and 60, you still have 90 other numbers, or however they calculate that 10%, that it could be, and it could still take you a long time.
Yeah, it could.
Just look how long it took me to get Osprey from all those Nightfall runs. I mean, it's still RNG at the end of the day, but at least it's double what it was, which should make it more accessible.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty awesome that they show the numbers, and some things they've buffed a lot, especially lore things, which they should, which makes sense. They've done some of these in about as perfect as you could, where they were hard to get at first, but now they want people to get all the lore eventually. So at some point they need to buff it up. So
right.
Some of these things with like doing Dreaming City, Lost Sectors, you get 100% chance of a lore item, or things like that. So it's good. But hopefully people that haven't gotten some of those weapons, it'll be a little more common now. I feel like there hasn't been as much concern in the game for like drops. I know some people are still salty about it, but we've kind of moved on where now it's just, are the activities worth it? What are we looking forward to? I mean, I know for me, I've still been having a lot of fun in the game, and maybe I played a little bit less this week, but because Arc Week, other than checking out the new Super for a little bit, wasn't anything too exciting to me. But I'm really looking forward to next week. We have the Revelry event.
Yes,
Sam, are you looking forward to looking like a bunny rabbit?
I don't know about the bunny rabbit.
The things that they showed.
We are getting a new exotic, at least, a linear fusion.
Yeah, that's going to be
Arbalist.
Great. Mm-hmm. Is that like an arborist?
Arbor Mist?
I don't know. Forget what I said. But Eva Levante is going to be the vendor. So I know we haven't started this event yet, so we're just speculating, but I'm looking forward to it still. I'm looking forward to the new event in the, quote, Infinite Forest. This one's called the Verdant Forest, and basically the idea is about the same. You go see as far as you can get. I wonder if it's going to be timed again. It seems like it is, which I don't know. I wish they had ways where you could just see as far as you can go, and the enemies get harder and harder, but at some point, obviously, they would have to cap off too. They can't just... I just feel like in Bungie's game, they don't have a way to code it where they get infinitely more harder. But nonetheless, they said it'll be a little bit different, where at the end, you will fight an onslaught of 5 different bosses and then claim your rewards. So it sounds like there's at least a little bit more in this one, and I'm looking forward to it because we know also in the event we will have different bounties to pick up, and this I have too many A words in my
Anarchy, Arbalists,
I know, right?
Alabama, Alabaster, AR-16, FSU, Anti-Meta Podcasts.
Yeah. Sorry. But anyways, excuse me, but the Arbalist fusion rifle will be available as a guaranteed reward if you do the certain bounty for it. And then after the event, it will be just a random world drop again. So we highly suggest everyone do that. This could be an amazing weapon. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it from other podcasts I listen to and talk on Reddit and just talking with friends. We've never had a fusion rifle, let alone kinetic linear fusion rifle. So,
right,
what is this beast going to be like? I mean, tell me some of its perks. And you said it can shoot through enemy combatants' shields.
Oh, you're going to make me look it back up, aren't you?
I thought you just had that memorized about the
I should
the
by now.
I know.
I should, because...
Cyn, you're off the podcast.
I'm off.
Yeah.
We've already done this once already.
Oh.
Why is it not committed to memory? Let's see.
Well, it says I can tell you one thing for sure. It says it's the first weapon of its kind and does extra damage against enemy shields. So I'm not sure actually if I heard that right, if it's supposed to just break them or just do extra damage. But
so yeah, it fires slugs that cause massive damage to elemental shields of combatant enemies. Mm-hmm. Elemental shields of enemy combatants. So to me, that would be. It sounds like it could be super helpful, like during the match game, because this is not elemental specific. Might help in that aspect now that I reread this, where normally you would have to have the elemental match to help bring it down. This sounds like it might do a little bit more damage. It doesn't matter the element.
Yes.
So that to me sounds like it could be an outstanding perk. I know it's got extended barrel, projection fuse, basically increased range with that. Disruption break. Breaking an enemy's shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a brief period. And composite stock, so stability and handling, basically.
I'm so excited to get this. We'll see what it's like. I mean, I've always been big with fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles, so we'll see if everyone's running it and it's nothing special anymore, or some people don't like it and they switch off of it. But I'm hoping it'll be great.
Yeah, it'll definitely make loadout choice more interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's cool. Of course, there's some armor that comes with the event. We'll talk more about this, in a upcoming podcast. We don't want to bore you too much on speculation. We like to talk more about our actual experiences. But I am looking for. Oh my gosh! I just noticed this though. I have to mention there's a ladybug ghost. I mean, I already saw the rabbit one, but I didn't notice there was a ladybug one.
Yeah, I did. I do remember seeing that.
And a dragonfly sparrow or ship. It looks like a ship.
Now, if there was Jack Sparrow in there, it would have had me.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a little worried about these events that are just kind of so seasonal. It's like, yeah, that's cool. We're in the moment, but then do you ever want to run that armor or ghost piece when it's not that season? It's almost like it's a waste.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can bring it out the next year, but whatever. It is what it is.
Revelry's going to have armor pieces that are going to be important in Crucible as well.
Yeah.
It's one thing we didn't really discuss yet was they're you get to fill these little trinkets or something, and then you can infuse the armor that you get, and based on the armor pieces you can get a tiny little buff in PvP even, or a lot of the game modes. So that's going to be interesting how that's going to play out, if it's going to be viable only during Revelry, or if it's going to be viable after Revelry as well.
Yeah, I believe, at least with the grenade buffs and melee buffs, that's only during Revelry. But sometimes these events too, I seem to remember the one from the last year, the Summer Solstice, and they're really fun. And then it's you're almost sad for them to leave because you don't get to do those things anymore. So, but I'm looking, I think I would hope they would keep in events where they, like the Verdant Forest, because I really liked the Haunted Forest. It was kind of sad to see that go, but at least we know coming soon afterwards we have our, which we mentioned before, the 6-player matchmade activity in the next season. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Right. Plus double engrams.
Yeah.
And you can start grinding more for your skull ornament.
Yeah. That will be great. I'm sure you'll get it before me.
I still haven't, so no worries there. Still have not yet.
But that's okay. I'm patiently awaiting it. Totally looking forward to it. I just hope I don't get it after everyone in the world, and then the skull has been, or the Nova Bomb has been nerfed into the ground.
Right.
And then everyone will be, who knows, tickle fingering again or something like that. Yeah. What else did we have this week to talk about, Mr. Cyn? Anything else you've done? Game of Thrones. Tell me about that. Just for those listening really quick, I've never watched any Game of Thrones before. I know, for shame. But I'm interested. I just didn't get around to it. But was it good?
You're going to have to binge watch. And now's a perfect time, with it being the last season. Binge watch it now so you can enjoy it all now.
Okay.
Because it does suck. I binge watched all the way up through season 5, and then I had to go on the waiting game. And it's torture. Once you fall in love with the characters and the story, it's actually torture to have to wait. But won't get into too much of the actual episode from earlier tonight. don't want to spoil it because I don't know
anyone.
when we're going to actually drop this podcast or when it's going to be released. But hopefully within a few days, still could be in spoiler territory for some people. And they did have at the end, there's a like the teaser trailer for next week for the second episode of the last season, and it looks like that it's going to get more intense, like more of the like this episode was really more of story development for the season. They're kind of setting the pace of how the season's going to turn out, and it looks like next week is really when the action's going to start.
Yeah,
with it being Game of Thrones, we know how a lot of that action ends up turning out.
Yeah. Well, I know people that listen to our podcast also enjoy Game of Thrones. I mean, for those of you in our Discord, we don't have to only talk about Destiny. Feel free to talk about other things too. Of course, nothing spoiler for the show if those haven't watched it yet, but we don't mind talking about all sorts of things in life, including how I guess my son is set to be married off. Now, did we already talk about that in this one?
I can't even remember.
Who knows, but we've talked about it before.
I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Yeah, that is okay. Oh, well, it was a pretty good week in the game. I know I didn't play it as much as I normally do, but had a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to things coming up. What else, Mr. Cyn, do you have to talk about that I might have missed?
I think that's actually pretty well covers it, other than me working a lot now. But
yeah,
as far as the week in Destiny, we covered it. Dredging, your raids, Arc Week, we covered Revelry coming up. We covered pretty much everything, I think.
I think so.
The 9. Yeah.
Yep,
a lot of good stuff.
I know we're going to have some great guests coming up in the future, so everyone look forward to that. And again, if anyone...
Spoiler.
I know.
Spoiler.
One
of them has already joined the Discord.
Uh-oh. We know now. But yeah, if anyone has any recommendations for people they want to hear, or again, or any community artists or anything to do about Destiny, you can feel free and post links in our Discord, because we like to share stuff that we have all done, or we know other people that have done cool things, from artwork to podcasts to streaming to whatever. If it's about Destiny, we like to talk about it and be a resource. So with that being said, very happy for you to be with us tonight, Cyn. I know
Absolutely.
that I almost was not here because I was a little salty that Craig had some issues.
Yes.
But very, very happy to be here. And
I think we were both a little salty about that.
Yeah. That stupid bear fox.
Pull the recording down, and I'm cussing in my head. I'm like, damn you, Craig!
Yeah. For any of those of you wanting to start a podcast, don't do it. It's not worth it. Just kidding. Anyways, we're very grateful and to have you listening to us. And Cyn, how can people get a hold of you if they want to?
With TP outside of the club, you can find me at twitch.tv, Cyn Media. That Cyn is CYN. And on Twitter, Cyn_media. And Kingsley, where can the lovely faces of the world in podcast find you, sir?
They can't. I'm out. No, they can find me at Kingsley Mac on PlayStation and on Twitch. I just stream occasionally, mostly if I'm raiding. And then on Twitter, though, my username is MC Kingsley. And just because it is, our website for the podcast is theguardianhub.com. And you can also find us on Twitter as The Guardian Hub. Thanks again for everyone listening. Thanks for joining me, Cyn. Hope you all have a wonderful week. And we will talk to you later. Goodbye.
We're not going to talk to Craig later. But goodbye.
Have a good one. Except for Craig.